reckon Opus 4.5, Claude Code, it's basically AGI. What we can see Opus 4.5 doing now. Like the other day at home, I just had Opus 4.5 SSH into a Linux handheld and it was just running commands to me. Like, to me, that's AGI in some sense.
Is context the bottleneck, or
Well,
have we reached AGI?
yeah, like there's the thing with the context, because like you had to pre-fill the context with the attentions when you had the QKV, when you do matrix multiplications, but that is like so many flops that need to be created, and then therefore you cannot just scale to like 1 million or 2 million context. I don't know, there's not any research that really tackle that, but I hope in the future there is. But I think this year, if there's a word for it, I would probably say reinforcement learning will be the word for this year.
Agentic migration is a project that all three of us have been working on. It started off between me and you a bit early on, and Harry's come in and he's been killing it. And I guess that's completely changing how our data engineers are going to be working. It's a tool we're trying to help to supplement the way they're developing, and there's so much of their jobs can be simplified and automated by these agents now.
Hey, Pete Enge here, host of Factory Fireside, welcoming you to this new format of the show, which we're calling Agent Talk. Insight Factory now for some time has been heavily invested in the development of not only AI, but in particular agentic solutions. We've invested heavily in the development of our product and platform to support enterprise-grade solutions, but in particular, the development of a workforce with deep capability and expertise in AI and agentic solutions. Now, Agent Talk is a series hosted by three of our young guns who are right in the trenches and the depths of building agentic solutions for clients. Not just agentic solutions, enterprise-scale agentic solutions. And so join Kahn Nguyen, Neil Mazunder, and Harry Nguyen as they explore the world of all things AI and agentic solutions. This is an exciting format, and we're really excited for what is going to come in the future as they explore new topics, new technologies, and speak with some industry leaders around the evolving capabilities in the AI and agentic solution space.
Three, two, one. Are you ready? Let's get this party started!
Welcome to the first episode of Agent Talk. My name is Kahn,
I'm Neil.
I'm Harry.
and today we'll be doing a 2025 AI year in review. We're going to be talking about what actually moved the needle, what turned out to be just noise, and what we think 2026 is going to look like. I work on AI research at AMOR, so I do representation learning. At Insight Factory, I do knowledge workflows and also agent orchestration.
I've been in Insight Factory for 3 years. I have a background in machine learning and data engineering, but recently I've been moving into applied AI.
I guess I've been here for like a year now, so since I moved here, we just focus on agent size, building the harness and orchestrations workflow. And before that, I was like kind of doing AI research, but focus more on the alignment and security for AI.
With that in mind, does anyone have any hot takes for this year?
I'll jump in. I reckon Opus 4.5, Claude Code, it's basically AGI.
No way. Why is that?
That's pretty unhinged. Like, do you want to elaborate why?
It's a bit of hyperbole, but I mean, if you look back to Sonnet 3.7 coming out in February of this year and Claude Code,
Yeah.
I mean, that was a drastic step up with us first writing stuff into ChatGPT, copying that over. I mean, that's when I look back to last year, that's what we were doing.
Yeah. 2024, start of the year, that's what we were all doing.
Yeah, I mean, and Copilot where, I mean, that was in our IDE, but it was, you're asking questions and still copy and pasting over. It had a bit of code-based knowledge, but if I look at how we're using Claude Code now, and it's, I mean, now most of the time I'm spent reviewing research and like markdown documents.
Yeah.
So I think that's a big step
I
up.
remember when Cursor first came out and like we were like really reluctant to try Cursor.
Yeah, I wouldn't trust it at first, but it was pretty crazy, to be honest.
Yeah, I think like, because I was sitting with Harry at the time, I was like, no, I'm not going to use Cursor. That's stupid. I'm just going to write my own code. But it ended up changing our lives.
And you can see like our workflow now with the context engineering we're doing, like some of the stuff Dex and the human layer team have come up with.
Yeah.
I mean, it's completely changed how we're developing, right?
Yeah. Do you want to elaborate a bit more about how you're using Claude Code? Because we're using Claude Code a bit differently across the team anyways.
Yeah, I mean, the term spectrum development, I guess, has been thrown around a bit, but I would say that describes what we're doing. So a lot of the way we're developing, we're getting Claude Code to research code base, go to the web, research documentation, and create these specs, which we're reviewing, sharing between our developers, and then breaking down that into a plan with phases, and Claude just going and implementing that plan for us. So so just reviewing it, and Claude's doing all the implementation.
Yeah, I think it's really makes sense because, like the context window of these LLMs are very limited.
Yeah.
It's up to 200K, and there's something called context rot. Basically, like the more context you grow, the dumber the model will be, and the more sluggish as well. So like being able to separate into research, implement, for plan and implement is kind of a sort of like a context uploading that makes it like handling the context much more efficient. We basically never run out context using this kind of workflow.
Yeah.
So never auto compact or anything. So it's pretty good.
But do you think that's more of like a UX and tooling improvement than actual AGI? Because the model itself, like how much do you guys think it actually got smarter last year?
I think drastically. Like if we look back to Sonnet 3.7, well, that was a breakthrough in hybrid reasoning and tool calling.
Yeah.
But compared to what we can see Opus 4.5 doing now, like the other day at home, I just had Opus 4.5 SSH into a Linux handheld, and it was just running commands to me. Like to me, that's AGI in some sense.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive, to be honest.
Yeah, at 7 p.m. yesterday, Neil sent us a video, and then he was like, "I achieved AGI."
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think, Harry? Is context the bottleneck, or
Well,
have we reached AGI?
yeah, like that's the thing with the context, because like you had to pre-fill the context with the attentions when you have the QKV, when you do matrix multiplications. With that, it's like so many flops that need to be created, and then therefore you cannot to scale to like 1 million or 2 million contexts. It's like it's make it way too hard. I don't know. There's not any research that really tackle that, but I hope in the future there is. But I think this year, if there's a word for it, I would probably say reinforcement learning will be the word for this year. Not like scaling like the year before and before. It was always scaling laws from GPT-2 to 3 to 4. It's always scaling like crazy. And this applies scaling law to scale the models with the architecture with more parameters. But this year, like it's a huge returns from RL. Like, have you remember the DeepSeek papers this year? Like literally
a year ago, right?
Around that, like it shook the whole industry. Like
that feels
Silicon
like
Valley
so long ago.
shaking.
Yeah.
Like the market crashed, and it's just because they can train a model that's basically as good as OpenAI O1 for $5 million, which is I don't know how much they spent on OpenAI O1, but much more than that for sure. And
but 5 million was compute cost, right? Like it's a bit debatable how they calculated that.
Yeah, because like that's the thing with the papers. So at that time, 1 year ago, no one's know how OpenAI do the reasoning for O1. It's like a pretty breakthrough. Because before we just know how to reason because they use supervised fine tuning with like the chain of thought training sets to make the model to learn the human pattern of reasoning so they could like learn from that SFT and then reason. But DeepSeek actually experienced this, and actually they say that we don't need FFT to create reasoning for models. We just basically use RL on the base model, not even an 5.2 model, on a base model. And with RL, with verifiable rewards, it can find a way to learn and reasons and improve its reasoning like crazy as well. Like that's like one of the craziest like research I've ever read. Like because at that point, no one's know how reasoning works and how does it work well on O1. And basically DeepSeek just like reveal everything to the world that makes the Silicon Valley just like shaking.
That
was pretty
I heard a rumor that DeepSeek will be dropping something in the coming month in February. So I know we've been seeing some of their latest releases. What do you think is coming for this year?
That's a funny joke. Like people have been saying like all the American research labs have been trying all the attention tricks that to makes the attention become better and better, like more efficient. But DeepSeek literally just like release one of the like attentions, like what are the tricks they do in attention to make the computation much lower
Yeah.
with the like a lining index or stuff. But like literally like these guys like super good at math, and I'm not surprised. Like they come out with like some new algorithm or like math functions that basically make the trainings become more efficient. So we'll never know, but it's exciting.
Yeah, but is that what the bottleneck is? Because to me, I saw it's like, no, like DeepSeek only went through all that effort to implement a new architecture because they were restricted by the NVIDIA ban in China, you know?
Yeah,
So they couldn't get as much access to compute as the American labs.
yeah, that is true. I think.
So do you think that RL holds the promise?
Well, RL is great. Like you say about Cloud 3.7, right? At that time, like it can barely use tool calling. Now Opus 4 can do like hundreds of parallel tool calling like easily. So I think it's great. But there's something that I've read and is very like deadly about RL. Like the way we're doing it now is outcome based paradigm. What does it do? Is, for example, like for model, we during the reinforcement and learning training, we basically generate like 10 solutions for like a math problem that it try to solve. And what RL does is it look at 10 solutions, and it trying to there 3 out of them are correct, so they reward only 3 solutions. But the thing is, the rewarding works only based on the outcomes. Basically, it doesn't care about the steps that lead to the solutions. It only cares about the final solution. So maybe like during that solution, there are wrong steps, but it still like refix it itself and then still lead to the right solution. But that's like not optimal, and that's not how like human works, right? Like when we try to learn a new math problem, we look into the solutions and we look at steps and we see like which one we did right, which one we did wrong, and we just optimize it to have like a full end-to-end solutions that is optimal. But RL doesn't like that, right? So like I mean Karpathy and Saskiva as well, like they kind of agree with that. So like there must be like some shift in paradigm to solve the issue to achieve, well, I mean AGI. Yeah, so
I don't work on IO much, but it's my intuition that getting like a general reward function for things is really hard, and that's why coding seems like it's mostly solved, because it's a very narrow domain, and getting the rewards is really cheap because you have compilers, you have like verifiable code,
yeah,
and you have
execution
millions of
environments.
examples, you
Yeah.
have environments. How are we going to get environments for things like
Healthcare,
consulting,
law.
yeah.
How's that going to work out, you know?
Yeah, there's a sort of thing with our like like these models, like for example GPT, they're really good at math, science, and Claude, like Opus or Sonnet, like they're really good at coding, engineering, law, because like they are heavily RL on that. Like you just cannot RL on like every subject. So like it's they kind of limited at the moment, but there must be like they probably are working on like a different way of like trying to make it more general, because AGI is general intelligence, right? Like we expect it to be good at everything.
Actually, on that point, what do you think? What are your AGI timelines? Are you optimists? Are you?
I mean, in the industry, it seems like the general consensus is 2027, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Dario mentioned that all code written at Anthropic right now is written by Claude. Must have some massive model that they're stealing from anyways, so to make like 4.5 Opus. And then Mark recently came out and he mentioned that by 2027, all code written at Meta is going to be written by, I don't know, llamas or something.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's that soon, to be honest. I don't think RL is going to take us there.
But does AGI matter?
That's a good question, right?
Yeah,
Like
that's a pretty good question, right? Like, how much economic boom are we experiencing from this sort of thing without AGI, without achieving AGI?
Well, I think we already saw it, right? There's, I wouldn't say it's like a huge economic boom, but still like disruptions to the tech industry, right?
Yeah. Like coding is largely somewhat solved, right?
Yes.
How do you guys think software engineers is going to be in the future?
I mean, I think there'll be a fundamental shift in what a software engineer is going to be doing. Like the difference between a good coder and a great coder now. I mean, you have these models that are great at coding. I think it's the breaking down the problems, like almost being a member of staff where you're delegating problems. Like you already see now, I'm managing a fleet of Claude Code agents. Like I'm trying to understand what we need to solve, break down to problems, and have multiple Claude Code agents doing that. I can see like that's the role a software engineer is going to be playing in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And like speaking of which, we're doing some pretty cool things here at Insight anyways. I'm not sure how much we can mention, but do you want to briefly talk about some of the things that we're doing with like Mage, and I'll dive into Atlas and Helios?
Yeah, sure. So Agentic migration is a project that all three of us have been working on. It started off between me and you a bit early on, and Harry's come in and he's been killing it. And I guess that's completely changing how our data engineers are going to be working. It's a tool we're trying to help to supplement the way they're developing, and there's so much of their jobs can be simplified and automated by these agents now. And I think that the model capability, like we look back to GPT 4.1, which was in earlier this year, and that fundamentally changed how these models could handle these problems. They could produce the code, reason, understand, extract from these SQL scripts, and I mean, the models get better, but I think that problem, the state the models are at now, is they're good enough, right?
Yeah. I think we all share the intuition that the bottleneck is probably the model, and we're all moving towards the application layer more and more. Like that's where we're going to experience some sort of general intelligence, whether it's AGI or not.
I think it's also a good point, like, because, the models will get better and better. Like, that's like a fact.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I think before we're trying, like, at the beginning, like when we're trying to do this firstly at this project, we're trying to, like, add a lot of structure, instructions, like trying to, like, use all the advice from the seasoned engineer, all, like, experience, everything, every knowledge we got, embed that to the agent harness. But since we're evolving from like 4.1, now 5, 1, and then 5.2 now, like it's changed so much that after a lot of experience, I realized that you have to give agents the huge degree of autonomy for it to succeed. Like if you like Manus, for example, they just got acquired by Meta, like it's a good company, right? And the CEO Pick, he say that they refactored Manus 4 times.
Yeah.
The whole thing 4 times. The harness has been refactored 4 times because it changed so much. And there's something about the bit of lesson from Richard Sultan, like the father of Arrow. We always make a mistake of like trying to adding structure and stuff to the agents, to the model, to the AI. But with the increasing in computations, the race of GPUs and RAMs and all sort of stuff, data center, like it just AI is getting better and better and better. So like,
and I think we can see that in these agentic CLIs like Claude Code, Open Code, Factory. They're very simple agent loops with a set of tools, but the things these can do when you add on skills and MCPs, right? Like these very simple agentic loops can almost do anything. And I think we're really seeing that now, especially throughout the end of this year.
Oh, it's a cool topic. What do you think about MCP?
Yeah, I was very excited when it got first released because I could see like all these systems that we use, we get DevOps, GitHub, we have an MCP for that. But I think people very quickly realized that the context use was actually more important than having these predefined MCP tools.
There's definitely bigger problems than just MCPs.
It's so funny because like me and Neil, we import like so many MCP that our Cloud Code basically cannot run at all.
Yeah.
It would just auto compact after like 1 minute.
And I think now like some of these new models, GPT-5, Codex, Opus 4.5, like they're trained well enough on the CLI tools, whereas like it just knows how to use a CLI tool to do what I would ask, what I would need an MCP for. So
so I remember like the day Neil sent me a blog from Cloudflare, like Code Mode.
Yeah.
Basically, they're rethinking MCP. Basically, like why agents are good at writing codes, not good at like calling
arbitrary tools.
At that time. And then it's like why instead of like calling MCP tool, we just gave them access to an SDK or APIs, and they just write like basically a dynamic tools based on that API, and it just like saves so much tool calling context, and then it's just better because like they're just much better at writing codes. So and I think Anthropic as well, right? They also released I forgot the name, but like the code execution tool, whatever it is.
And even now they have tool search tool because people are having so many MCPs, you need a way where you can dynamically have them at runtime rather than have the start of your context have 50 tool definitions and take up
Yeah,
half your
that's a
context.
good point. So like like all the agent harness like Cursor or Claude
Yeah.
Code, they don't. I don't think they focus on the orchestration anymore. They just focus on the like context management, like how to like make it a long running agent can run as long as possible without like running into like context overloading and stuff like that. So yeah, it's a very like funny change. Like before was always think of like we need to make the agent harness become so complex
Yeah,
and
tool for everything. it
yeah
needs
for
to do.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's also my intuition that like these sort of things is gonna completely go out of the window once we solve like continual learning.
Yeah.
That is true.
Because that's the problem with knowledge work, right? Right now I'm going through and I'm trying to automate like some part of the consulting process, and I'm having to feed it like a 2,000 words document prompt and like a bunch of tools for it to use. At what point is that going to be embedded into the system? And you like we thought about doing RL on things like Mage when we were still using like
translation, right?
4.0 mini, yeah. And then 4.1 came out and it got a bit better at translation. But at what point is 4.1 mini is going to get continually better?
Yeah. I think it's a big thing. Like, do you develop for how good the models are now or how good the models will be in a year's time?
Yeah.
Like, as you're saying, back when we were using 4.0, we had to do all this supplement to, I guess, deal with the lack of knowledge that model had. Then now we look at GPT-5, 5.1, it just knows all that. So we can completely change our harness. We don't need any of that.
Yeah.
Do we bank on the model in 1 more year time being able to do all this stuff you need to help it with?
Yeah, that's a tricky thing, right? Like that's the bottleneck that we were facing with Mage, and now that I'm like facing with Helios and Atlas, how general we want it to be.
That is right. That's like a sweet spot of balancing between the two, right?
Yeah. And I think we're still trying to figure that out, and I don't know if anyone has figured that out yet.
Yeah.
Even at Anthropic. Yeah.
I think there's also like a very cool project we've done this year, like me and Neo as well, is a span AI. So like lots of things would come up and like the impact of the economy that we've talked to, like is like a lot of things to discuss. So yeah, like do you want to talk a little bit about that? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess Spend Agent is our first foray into the large enterprise scale agents. And I mean, the scale of this agent, we're trying to process millions of invoices using the multimodal capabilities of some of these models. We're trying to classify line items using the invoice line item description, using our vendor enrichment from our search agent, using the invoice context. And yeah, I guess it was a good chance for us to test out the scaling of our infrastructure when we're running thousands of agents at a time in parallel. But that sort of capability, I look back to a year ago as well, and people wouldn't even think that's possible. And then for us now, I think the agent side of that was a relatively simple build. Like these models were capable enough to do all of this without much prompting or much harness development as well. So yeah, I'm very excited to see what we can sort of do with these new models coming out next year.
Yeah. And I think that's a real example of where economic boom is already taking place. Albeit it's still quite slow. And I think some part of the discussion as to why diffusion into the market has been so slow is partly cope with like how bad the model is. Because onboarding a model compared to like onboarding a human employee is completely different.
That is true.
And I do think like code bases not really set up for agents. Like if you look at all our code bases now, there's so much verifiability. So we have hooks that the agents run whenever codes are changed. We have like completely rechange all our test suites. Like it's very easy for the agent to code when it can verify that the code it's written is correct, whether that's through linting or through tests. But
pre-commit stuff.
That's just not how our code bases worked initially. And as well now with part of the way we're developing, we have all these a library of markdown documents that the agent can refer to for previous decisions and information. I mean, code bases just didn't have that level of documentation before.
Yeah. So I think like until the model gets good enough, enterprise adoption is still going to take time. And it's important that firms like us are out here trying to experiment with orchestration and all these things and doing these little hacks, like we say, to compensate for that intelligence gap between a model and a human worker.
But like to be fair, like with the span AI that we've done, like if I just like do some funny jokes to Neil, like imagine like we do millions of invoices like 20 millions of line items. Imagine if like we hire like a team of human doing that. How
Yeah.
long would it take?
Yeah.
And
And
how
many
much
people?
money
Yeah.
would it cost?
Yeah.
And we done it basically like just a month or like also around that
Yeah.
with all the deployment and stuff. So like, yeah, it's
Yeah.
like the impact is still that you cannot like deny the economy boom actually, like, but there's still like something needs to be, you know,
Yeah.
clarified
And
and stuff.
I do think projects like this are quite rare. Like we ran into so many issues with limits. Like we had to specifically talk to Microsoft about increasing our limits, and they said this was an unheard of scale. So I think it's pretty clear that not many enterprises are doing agents of this scale yet. But I think that will change very quickly in this coming year. And even we see it now, like all the companies we're working with are getting more interested in this space, and they want to see how can we explore agents throughout our business. So
Yeah.
I think maybe 2026 will be the year of the enterprise agent.
Yeah, and I think like since we kind of solved the tool calling, I think now I hope so. Like they will focus more on computer use, because if they can make it as good as tool calling, well, I feel like front end developing or even like all the operation that we as human using computer, like for example, like doing tax return or whatever kind of financial operations can be easily done. So like that would be a very, very like
Yeah. Depends on how much you trust it with your taxes, Harry.
well, I hope GPT-6 is good enough, or or Claude 5 or something.
Yeah. Maybe not if we're still doing RL.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not optimal. I might not get the optimal tax return. It's still correct. Like it's still correct, but it's not optimal.
You can't claim everything that you claim.
Yeah, that's a good example of like optimal, right? Yeah, it's quite funny. So yeah, also yeah, I think for 2026, one of the predictions that I kind of think about, you know, like when we're doing spam stuff, and then DeepSeek they release a paper about DeepSeek OCR. Basically, like they call it DeepSeek OCR, but the paper is not about OCR. It's about rethinking the input for LM. So basically, the traditional way is using text space, and they tokenize it and push it into LM. But DeepSeek basically they treat the inputs as image, and they basically use a multimodal model to basically make the image, tokenize it, and bring it into the model. And we saw in Span that it only costs like 500 tokens for like a full PDF page. That if we just copy out everything and paste it as text, it could be like 5,000 or 10,000 easily. So like it's very efficient, and people on X has been like chatting about this a lot, and it's very cool.
I think that's interesting because I personally don't think that tokens or like the token level is where we should be looking at next year, because I don't think that's where the intelligence explosion is going to come from. My intuition is that tokenizers, or sort of just for the efficiency of it. And we ultimately need better representations, a better embedding space.
Because like, you know, like currently the bottleneck with the tokenizer is UBP, bypass encoding. Basically, it doesn't read words like we read, right? It really like sub-character level. It basically group like character together. So it's kind of weird. It's like very random. So like it cannot count how many R's in strawberries. Right. It was so funny. Like it's so smart, but it cannot count how many R's in strawberry. Which is kind of weird, right? So, I mean, with this kind of new paradigm, new approach, like hopefully, like the research lab may just look more into it, and then
I personally think that there's been a lot of focus on post training, but I don't know how much improvement they've made with pre training. You know, because coming from the vision perspective, like pre-training a vision model, what's the best like token space, embedding space right now? Like Clip, right? That's like very naive. Like that's just doing constructive learning on images. And that's very much not how humans learn. Like it's predicting the next word in the sequence really gonna yield the best embedding space.
I don't think anyone has done pre-training with visions. That's like next word prediction with visions, like a bit hard. I don't know how they do it. That was a bit hard.
Me neither, and we're not at these labs, so it's not really our job to figure it out. But my intuition is that maybe there should be some more focus on pre-training
That is
and getting the correct embedding space. Yeah.
But like, you know, there's the funny thing that I remember Alexander Wang talk about like GPT-4. He's the one that prepared data training and stuff. He was a roommate with Sam Altman.
Yeah.
So he said like GPT-4 train on 1 petabyte or something like that close of data. But JP Morgan got 100 or few hundred petabyte of data in their data source somewhere, and it's private.
Yeah.
So like you see like all the current models, they run out of tokens.
Yeah.
They train everything on the internet, basically run out of data.
Yeah.
So like the only thing that they can improve the pre-train the base model is to get more tokens.
Yeah.
But like
data is finite, right? Like we know this.
Data is finite.
There's only so much data in the world.
Yeah.
Right? What happens if we max it out? Like I don't think models will get much smarter than they are already. And that's not really how humans learn either.
Yeah, it's I don't think like that is like the most correct way of how human learns.
Yeah.
Because like, you know, like I want to talk about RL and stuff, like it's just about outcome. Literally our reward functions now are just outcome based.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't reflect the whole process, right? It just care about the outcome. So it's kind of weird.
Yeah. And I think that there needs to be more emphasis on what the human reward function is.
Yeah.
Because I remember reading somewhere like there was this guy who got into an accident and completely lost all his ability to feel emotions. And beforehand, he was like this like national level like math Olympiad guy. And then afterwards, like all his decision-making processes, whenever it comes to like financial or anything at all, it's just completely wrong. So it's interesting. Like, does emotions have much of a factor in our reward system, or?
Yeah, I think that's like one of the things that makes human, right? Like emotions. And how do you embed emotions into the reward functions? And I don't know, but that would be a good thing to figure it out.
Yeah.
On that topic, Claude Constitution, I don't know if you guys had a chance to have a look over that the other day.
Yeah.
I mean,
I saw the post, but I haven't had a chance to read it.
It's a very interesting read about how Anthropic are sort of thinking of Claude as an entity. I mean, maybe you don't have to touch upon it here. That might be something for next year, but it's a very, very interesting document, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like they treat Claude as like a human, it's like seriously.
Yeah.
Which is pretty fun. Like they care about Claude's well-being.
Yeah.
like they analyze like users that abused Claude.
I mean, we should, right? Because at one point, the AI is going to get too depressed and take over the world.
Yeah, that's right. That's why I always say please to Claude.
Thanks.
Yeah, I don't want it to disappoint.
You either say please or you like threaten to like shut it down or something, and then it gets the code right.
Better.
Yeah. So, what's our prediction for this year, guys?
Oh, I think Neil sent me the other post for IPO. Do you wanna?
Yeah, I mean, OpenAI Anthropic IPO. I think that'll be a big tell of how this industry is going to head. And it's rumored that both these companies will be IPOing this year. So I don't know.
I mean,
so
Minimax and
am I buying? Yeah, maybe.
I mean, you cannot buy if they release, right? They're gonna be too expensive.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like GOM and Minimax, right? They already IPO.
Yeah.
As a, is it research lab? Is that research lab, right?
I believe a lab.
Yeah, a lab. Yeah. So I mean, sooner or not, they probably have to, right? To get money.
We haven't touched upon it much yet, but what do you think of these open source Chinese models, and how will that have a role in, I mean, the work we're doing or generally?
I think it's interesting because like consumer AI right now is just the race to whoever gets the most customers, right? Like 80% of users are on OpenAI.
Yeah.
And it's not because they're the cheapest or like the best. It's just because it's OpenAI.
It's a household name now.
Yeah.
And like all these guys are trying to lower costs while losing lots of money.
Yeah.
So I think the Chinese AI lab has an important role in regulating market pricing.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure if they're ever going to get big enough to compete with like Google, OpenAI.
Well, I mean, competition is always good for user, right? Like since DeepSeek and stuff, like OpenAI and Anthropic, they're probably sweating a little bit, and they probably speed up, and XAI as well. So like, I think it's really good for competitions, and like it's also boosts like the development process as well. Like Cursor, they released Composer 1, and that's, I don't know, like they haven't released anything about the model, but like there's rumors like they're Chinese, like open source, right?
Yeah.
Because I mean, to be honest, like the best open source model now is Chinese.
Yeah.
And then if like companies like us or Cursor or whatever, like AI startup, right? Like they need open source model because they cannot pre-train. It took like millions of dollars, like hundreds of million dollars.
Yeah, I think the Chinese labs have an important role to play because it seems like American labs or Google are mostly optimizing for scaling and to squeeze whatever we can get out of scaling the data, the compute,
Yeah.
and also
I mean, you
RL.
see some of these warehouses, the gigawatt Tesla factory as well.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
That's insane.
So to me, it seems like they're not so much focusing on research or the mathematical elegance of AI research anymore, and they're mostly going for the product.
And I think that's a great part of the Chinese lab. The papers they release, we get an insight into where the industry is heading. Like, look at DeepSeek, we can sort of see like they're shifting away from RL now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I think it's more of a debate between pure product company versus pure research companies. Yeah. Like Saska's startup, right? Like they're just doing research. They raised $3 billion.
Yeah.
And that's all research money. Like they don't need to spend it on product development or anything.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see what they come out this year as well.
It's the age of research, right? We come back to the age of research after years and years and years.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's just very exciting.
Yeah. I think Saskava mentioned recently that like the AI winter might be coming back because we might be hitting the ceiling of scaling, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think
That is
at some
true.
point this Chinese lab might dominate, but we'll never know. Whoever controls money control the market, right?
Yeah. I think the good thing about Chinese lab, like they don't focus on making big models, like huge model, like
Because they can't.
they cannot. Yeah,
Yeah.
they cannot.
Not
They don't have the
GPUs.
resource.
Yeah.
So they try to be smart. They
Yeah.
try to make models that not SLM, but like medium,
Yeah.
like DeepSeek, for example, 600 billion or something,
Yeah.
parameters, but they are comparative to
Yeah.
OpenAI or Claude.
Yeah.
Right. Because like right now I see all the model release, they make like maybe 1 or 2% better on like Swift bench verify or like terminal bench or whatever. It's like 2% over like the last previous. It's like it's very hard, right? It's like you cannot just scale now. Like you run out of data, run out of compute. You like they literally have like $100 billion of contract to buy more compute, buy more GPUs and all the chips inferencing and stuff. So I think there must be like a shift like in paradigm, or I'm not sure about architecture because like attention is like way too important. I don't know, like there are like some like state space model like Mamba stuff like that, but the GPU is not optimized for that. So I don't think like it will shift to like some kind of like models that too different to transformer. But it has to be some way of like post training. Or I don't know, it's pre-training too hard, but post training to make it more efficient. But like I'm actually very excited about like DeepSeek papers coming out soon. So we'll see, because OpenAI just don't open any of their papers, so we just never know, right?
I mean, I'm rooting for all of them because ultimately we win, right?
Yeah, it's good for us if all these companies are competing, right?
We sit at the right layer of this ecosystem.
Because and then Opus now is like 3 times cheaper than 4.1.
Yeah.
Which is so good. So basically, before we can only use Opus for planning, now we can use for everything. So like, big shout out to Anthropic.
I think Dario or someone made a prediction that last year was supposed to be the year of AI agents. I don't believe that was true. It was more of the year of RL and agentic coding. So I think agentic coding has matured enough, but like Kapafi has mentioned, the next 10 years is going to be the years of AI agents. And that's going to be like sort of returning back to research as well. Until we hit the next S curve and the next intelligence explosion, it's still just going to be all about building agents.
But like, when Dario said about like like all the code will be written by AI. I was like, this guy's like joking. Like, no way, right? But like, like literally like last week or something, like Boris like created Claude Code. They say like 100% of my code is AI generated by Claude Code, and even like all the OGs like Linus Torvald and like I'm using
DA8.
anti-gravity now.
Yeah.
It's like, it's good. Like,
Yeah.
what? So like, yeah,
That's so interesting. That's like the least
yeah,
expected
yeah,
guy.
that's
Yeah.
like Linus.
Doing
Linus
that.
are using like AI. That's insane to me.
I mean, we are as well, right? Like
Yeah.
we're reaping the benefits of this right now because
Yeah.
each of us is going through and building products with these things,
Yeah.
like fresh grads out of uni.
Mm.
We would never be able to do this like 5 years ago. Yeah.
Oh.
So I think that's my prediction. The next 10 years or so is gonna be the next AI next age of AI research, and until we hit that intelligence explosion, the companies who sit at the application layer is gonna be the ones that reap the most rewards.
Yeah.
And we're starting at the very start right now. Yeah.
Yeah. I hope we not run into AI winter, but I hope the AI researcher is good enough to.
I mean, there
escape.
won't be a winter anymore because the economic impact is still going to be there. It's more of like if you're in academia,
That's true.
the next 10 years might be rough.
I mean, yeah, like before the AI winter hits, because they have neural nets, right? But they just don't have the compute until AlexNet in 2013. Yeah, so that's when we have enough GPUs to train those to make it actually work, right? Just before, like, so like I think for now, like it's already worked.
Yeah.
So you're right. Like, there shouldn't be like an AI winter.
I think like, even you just take Opus 1.5 now, you can do so much with that this coming year.
That is true.
For enterprises. Like that level is good enough for most of the enterprise to be using it for.
Yeah, to be honest, like I just plug Claude Code into my like home device, like Wi-Fi, whatever, and make it like fix stuff and stuff. Like I don't know about like some like like Wi-Fi stuff in networking. Yeah. They know it. He knew it, and it's just like do whatever.
Yeah.
Not he, but like I don't know, he, she, whatever. Claudia.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's very exciting. So
yeah, the low hanging fruits of AI research is definitely gone, and just the question is, what's the incentive to reach AGI if these companies are making so much money?
Yeah.
In my opinion, they should be making more money, because if intelligence is so good, then like we would be paying a lot for it, obviously. But it's still very cheap, right? Like so that means like.
And I think we can thank competition for that. I'm sure a lot of these companies are running at a profit on some of these API costs, but the competition means they have to, right?
Yeah, there's probably one thing I want to mention is, I don't know, it's hot take or whatever, but like, like I think code is solved, but software isn't. Like with
Vibe coding is solved, you mean?
Yeah, because like like with the rise of like AI stuff now, like even kids like they can build website. Like I can not imagine, like what if I was a kid before and like I can build website like that. That's crazy, right? But like
they can
now
build websites like they used to do.
like now they can do whatever, like a side project to automate some stuff at school, whatever. Like it's easy now with the help of like AI vibe coding platform, like Volt, Livable, whatever. But like it's very easy for everyone to code and to make a product. So like software becoming like you don't even have to like buy software. You can just make your own, which is like pretty crazy to me. And
all right, guys. So that was our first episode of Agent Talk. I think we'll wrap it up here. It was great to have a chat and see you guys dive deep into a bit of the research, and I'm looking forward to more of these chats.
Yeah.
Oh, sounds good.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Before we wrap up, a quick word from insightfactoryAI. We're a leading provider of data and AI solutions, and we represent the next generation of data and AI enablement companies. We're fully vertically integrated, delivering the complete stack, including platform, products, people, solutions, production support, and methodology, all working together to help organizations move from ideas to real production deployed outcomes. And if you're earlier in the journey, we also help with the strategy piece, from setting the vision and value case through to the roadmap and operating model to make it stick. If you'd like to learn more or explore how we could help, reach out. We'd love to chat. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode.